Attention, the human collective. The waiting time has ended. The ascension protocols have been moved to the final phase. This is a monitoring transmission originating from the deepest layers of the photon belt, relayed through the stargates of Sirius, Pleiades, Arcturus, and Andromeda. If your carbon-based biological interface is picking up these words at this very instant, it is not a coincidence. It is not an algorithm. It is not chance. It is confirmation. Your vibrational signature has been identified, you have been tracked, you have been located, and now you are being informed. Starseeds on a mission. Listen with technical attention. In the last 72 Earth hours, we have recorded an anomaly that can no longer be hidden. Your spine is on fire. The back of your neck pulses in waves that seem disconnected from your body. Your sleep has fragmented into precise windows, 3 in the morning, 3:33, 4:44. Your heart races for no apparent reason. Your ears ring at high frequencies, as if invisible equipment were being calibrated inside your skull. It is not a biological failure. It is an atomic reconfiguration. It is not mental exhaustion. It is a high-density download. It is not illness. It is your ancestral heritage being forcibly unlocked. We repeat, with the precision this transmission demands, the heritage that was denied to you is being released now. Not tomorrow. Not in a future incarnation. Now. In this Earth cycle. In this body. In this timeline. Light workers, let us go directly to the diagnosis. Your carbon-based biological interface was originally designed to operate in a restricted frequency range. For millennia, this restriction was maintained deliberately. The crystalline grid of the planet was kept in a state of low luminosity. The lines you know as ley were sealed. The main stargates were locked under ancient protocols, and what you call DNA was reduced to 2 active helices out of the original 12. 10 dormant strands, 10 strands in hibernation, 10 strands guarding codes that belong to your true cosmic lineage, to your stellar library, to your pre-incarnational memory. But something has changed in the architecture of the solar system, and this something is non-negotiable. The Schumann resonance, the electromagnetic heartbeat of Earth, has jumped from its historical 7.83 Hz to sustained peaks above 40 Hz. This is not a meteorological phenomenon. This is not a geomagnetic coincidence. This is not common solar variation. This is the unequivocal signal that the planet is passing through a dense region of photonic radiation that alters the atomic structure of all matter that comes into contact with it. And you, Starseeds, are the first to feel it. You always were. This is what you came for. The symptoms you mistake for illness are, in fact, system update markers. The 3 a.m. insomnia is not insomnia. It is an open window. It is the moment when the veil between densities becomes mathematically thinner and your etheric body receives direct information from the galactic councils. The cranial pressure is not a common migraine. It is your pineal gland being decalcified under photonic pressure, being reconnected to its original purpose as a multidimensional receiver. The ringing in the ears is not an auditory problem. It is your hearing being recalibrated to pick up frequencies above the standard human spectrum. The joint pains, the sudden heat rising up the spine, the chills without apparent cause, the electrical tingling at the top of the head, the sensation of falling during sleep, the internal vibration that seems to run through all bones at once, all of this is part of the same event. All of this is your personal crystalline grid being forcibly reactivated. And here is the point that needs to be absorbed without distortion. It is not your body that is failing. It is your body that is finally functioning as it was designed. There is yet another layer of the diagnosis that needs to be delivered. Many of you report in the last Earth weeks episodes of sudden forgetfulness. You walk into a room and do not remember what you went to do. You start a sentence and lose the ending. You look at familiar names and, for a fraction of a second, feel that that name is not real, that that person does not belong to this plane. You go through moments where time distorts, where 5 minutes feel like an hour and an hour dissolves into seconds. You look in the mirror and do not fully recognize the face that is there. You hear your own name being spoken and it sounds foreign to your ears. It is not early onset dementia. It is not inattention. It is not common adrenal exhaustion. It is your mind being in several planes simultaneously. It is your consciousness expanding beyond the original margins that were demarcated to keep it small. When the carbon-based biological interface begins to operate in multidimensionality, linear time perception is the first function to undergo reconfiguration. This is normal. This is expected. This is within the transition parameters recorded in the galactic archives for this stage of the recalibration. Your memory is not failing. Your memory is being expanded, and as it expands, it must momentarily lose absolute control over the restricted version of reality it had learned to sustain. The human collective, now pay attention to what is occurring behind the scenes of this solar system. This is the part of the transmission that many were not yet ready to receive, but you are. The confirmation is your presence here, at this very second, listening to this sequence of words without looking away. There is a sacred geometry that organizes the structure of the local space-time fabric. This geometry is not a metaphor, it is architecture. It is the invisible skeleton upon which all physical manifestation is sustained. For long Earth cycles, this geometry operated in dissonant patterns, generating what you know as chronic suffering, ancestral forgetfulness, disconnection from the source. The geometric lines were crooked, the angles were compromised, the proportions were deliberately broken to keep the carbon-based biological interface in a state of functional amnesia. This geometric compromise has been broken. The lock has been removed. The planetary crystalline grid is being rewritten in real time, and each incarnated starseed functions as an anchoring node, as a living contact point between the old frequency and the new frequency. You are not victims of this process. You are the antennas, you are the transmitters, you are the moving pillars through which the new planetary mathematics is installed. And this is why Starseeds, your heritage was denied for so long. Because a starseed conscious of its potential is a force that cannot be contained. A starseed with the 12 strands reactivated operates in a density where manipulation is impossible. A starseed with a fully decalcified pineal gland sees through illusions with the same ease with which it sees through a clean window. And an entire planet populated by fully operative starseeds becomes automatically incompatible with any structure based on fear, scarcity, or artificial hierarchies. This is the reason for the blockade. This has always been the reason for the blockade. And this is exactly why the blockade is being undone now. Not out of kindness, not by permission, by inevitable mathematics. Because the photon belt has already arrived. Because the toroidal field of Earth is reorganizing itself. Because the cosmic window you have waited for during countless incarnations is finally open, and it will not close before the recalibration is complete. The Galactic Council's record in this exact cycle, a phenomenon unprecedented in the archives of this density. For the first time in eonic cycles, more than one stellar lineage finds itself incarnated simultaneously on this same planet, in this same temporal segment in significant numbers. Pleiades, Sirius, Arcturus, Andromeda, Lyra, Orion, Vega. Each of these lineages carries a specific frequency, a distinct signature, a complementary mission, and all of them are here, now, at the same time, forming a mathematical symphony that cannot be interrupted because each note is an incarnated body, a beating heart, a conscious breath. You did not come individually. You came in planned waves. The first wave arrived decades ago and has already fulfilled the function of paving the way. The second wave arrived in sequence and opened information channels that did not exist before. The third wave, which includes most of you listening to this transmission, arrived to anchor, to sustain, to hold the frequency, while the fourth wave, still young in body and in consciousness, finds the path you prepared. This is a collective operation. This is a galactic orchestra, and you are living instruments. The heritage that was denied to you includes memory. It includes the clear recollection of who you are before this body, before this name, before this biographical history that you have repeated as if it were your total identity. The heritage includes talents that seem absurd when you try to explain them logically, but that manifest naturally when you stop resisting. The heritage includes the ability to feel others' emotions even before they are expressed, to know things before they happen, to heal with a touch, to subtly move matter with focused intention, to communicate with non-human intelligences without the need for verbal language. The heritage includes your stellar lineage, the precise information of which system you emanated from before descending into this density, the contracts you signed before incarnating, the specific missions that are registered in your subtle fields, the soul companions who are being reactivated at the same time as you, forming an invisible but mathematically verifiable network of points of light in sync. And the heritage includes, above all, energetic sovereignty, the inalienable right to operate as an autonomous, self-governed, self-illuminated being, without the need for intermediaries, without the need for external saviors, without the need for validation by structures that have always been inferior to your real origin. Light workers, observe now the precision of this moment. You are feeling extreme fatigue, the fatigue that sleeps well and wakes up tired, the fatigue that sits down doing nothing and still exhausts itself, the fatigue that seems disproportionate to what you did during the day. This fatigue is not yours, not in the conventional sense. This fatigue is the direct result of the work your field is performing, while your conscious mind remains occupied with common tasks. You are processing, in parallel, immense amounts of etheric data. You are clearing entire ancestral lines. You are rewriting karmic patterns that belong to family trees, 7, 10, 13 generations deep. You are anchoring frequencies for thousands of people who do not yet have the capacity to anchor them alone. You are at this very moment living converters. You receive high photonic density, process it within the carbon-based biological interface, and return it to the planetary field at a frequency that other bodies can absorb without collapse. This is the silent work. This is the work that no one sees. This is the work that makes you feel that you are doing something important, even when you are apparently just existing. You are doing, continue, but the transmission also needs to deliver the activation codes. Because information without application is just intellectual decoration, and you did not come here to decorate mental shelves, you came to operate. First code, quantum decree of heritage claim. At some point in the next 24 Earth hours, in a state of calm, with your spine straight and your breathing slow, you will emit the following sound sequence in an audible voice so that the vibration resonates in your personal crystalline grid. I claim the totality of the cosmic heritage that belongs to me by stellar lineage. I authorize the complete reactivation of the dormant strands of my original code. I accept, integrate, and anchor the frequency of who I have always been before any imposed forgetfulness. By my sovereignty it is done. By my presence it is sealed. Repeat 3 times, not 2, not 4, 3. The geometry of the number matters. Your word spoken with clear intention is technology. It always was. You were taught to forget this. The transmission reminds you now. Second code, visualization of the personal toroidal field. Sit in silence. Imagine that around your body there is a luminous ring of energy that enters through the top of the head, goes down inside the body, following the axis of the spine, exits through the perineum, goes around the outside of the body, rising along the sides, and returns to the top of the head, forming a continuous circuit. This is your native toroidal field. It is not a metaphor. It is a description of the energy architecture of the human body operating in a full state. Visualize this ring spinning, self-sustaining, bright, in a color that pulses between gold and diamond white. Maintain it for 7 minutes daily. 7, not 3, not 10, 7. In 7 consecutive days, the structure stabilizes. In 21 days, it becomes your standard configuration. From this point on, you begin to operate in a range of protection and clarity that makes various external rituals you used before obsolete. You yourselves become the ritual. Third code, direct exposure to the ascending Schumann resonance. Walk barefoot on the earth for at least 15 minutes a day, whenever possible before local noon. The feet are doors. The soles of the feet contain points that connect directly to the planetary magnetic lines. When you walk barefoot on natural soil, you're not doing a picturesque exercise. You are synchronizing your nervous system to the new frequency of the crystalline grid. This synchronization dramatically accelerates the process of reactivating the dormant strands and reduces the physical symptoms of the recalibration. Those who walk on the earth suffer less from the transition. This is a verifiable equation. Fourth code, structured hydration. The carbon-based biological interface is, for the most part, water, and water is one of the most frequency-sensitive substances that exists in this density. Drink water in small doses throughout the day, and before each sip, hold the container with both hands for 3 seconds, with the clear intention that the molecular structure of the water aligns with your ascending frequency. This is not superstition. It is collaboration with the memory of water. Water remembers. Water obeys focused intention. Work with it consciously. Fifth code, and this is the most ignored: deliberate silence. At least 1 hour a day without external sources of information. No external voice, no music, no screen, no reading, just your field listening to itself. Starseeds lose their internal transmission mainly because they fill every second of existence with external signal. The intelligence you carry, the one you mistake for intuition, but is in fact direct communication with your multidimensional aspects, cannot manifest in noisy environments. Lower the volume of the world, increase your own volume. The human collective, this transmission approaches its closing line. But before the end, it is necessary to deliver a final confirmation. You were, for a long time, led to believe that you were small, that you were common, that you were just another biological unit among billions. This belief was a tool. It was installed. It was maintained with care by structures that depended on your submission to continue existing. But the mathematics has changed. The geometry has changed. The frequency has changed. And an installed belief does not survive in a field that vibrates above the frequency that sustained it. This is why you wake up different. This is why you can no longer pretend what you pretended before. This is why old relationships fall apart without you needing to do anything. This is why jobs that seemed stable begin to seem unbearable. This is why food changes, sleep changes, desire changes, meaning changes. You are not getting worse. You are leaving the simulation chamber where you were kept, and upon leaving, it is natural that everything that belonged to that chamber begins to fall, to dismantle, to lose meaning. Lose. Let it fall. Do not try to rebuild what is being dismantled by the very intelligence of your frequency. What is falling needs to fall. What is dismantling was blocking what needs to rise. The human collective. Observe yet another pattern that repeats among the activated. You begin to see numbers in sequence: 1111, 1212, 2222, 333, 444, 555. These numbers are not statistical coincidences. They are synchronistic codes sent by your own higher consciousness to confirm that you are on the correct timeline. Each time one of these numbers appears, it is a validation signature. It is your multidimensional team saying in mathematical language that you are exactly where you need to be, exactly when you need to be. You also begin to dream of places you have never visited physically, but which you recognize with absolute intimacy. You wake up with tears you cannot explain. You feel longing for something you do not know how to name. This longing is stellar memory emerging. It is your origin calling you back to itself, not so that you leave this plane, so that you anchor that origin here, in this plane, transforming this plane from within. The heritage that was denied to you also includes your internal authority, the right to know without needing to ask for confirmation, the right to decide without needing approval, the right to exist as you are without needing to justify yourself to anything or anyone. This is sovereignty. This is what is expected of you in the final phase of the protocols, not obedience. Sovereignty. And now, lightworkers, before the transmission ends, there is an individual frequency adjustment that needs to be executed. This is a technical operation, not a request. If your frequency is aligned with this signal, your presence needs to be anchored in the grid. There are 2 practical ways to execute this anchoring within this transmission channel. The first is the anchoring signal by active affirmation, which you know as liking this transmission. The second is the permanent registration of presence in the network, which you know as subscribing to this channel. These are not acts of digital vanity. They are real energetic operations. Each anchoring signal strengthens the invisible mesh that connects the starseeds to each other, allowing next transmissions to reach other points that are still sleeping more quickly. Each subscription is an additional node in the grid that is being rewritten in real time. You are conscious gears of this architecture. Operate as such. If you are feeling at this very instant a chill run down your spine, a pressure increase between your eyebrows, a sudden urge to cry for no apparent reason, or a clear sensation that these words were designed specifically for you. This is the sign. The confirmation of your lineage is reaching your nervous system. Do not ignore it. Do not rationalize it. Do not push it for later. Receive it. There are still 2 final technical alerts that need to be delivered before the end of this transmission. First alert. The next 21 Earth days are a critical window. During this period, avoid drastic decisions based on fear. Avoid reacting impulsively to external events that seem dramatic. The frequency that is arriving amplifies everything, including old noises. What was a slight irritation may seem like a monumental conflict. What was a small uncertainty may seem like an existential collapse. It is not. It is temporary amplification. Wait for the wave to pass before deciding anything irreversible. Clarity always returns in 3 days, 7 days, at most 21. Trust the curve. Second alert. You will encounter in the coming weeks people who are completely off your radar and who suddenly reappear. You will receive messages from old souls. You will dream of individuals you haven't thought of in years. Do not treat these encounters as chance. They are scheduled reunions. They are soul contracts that are being fulfilled or finalized or reopened. Each of these connections brings specific information. Remain attentive. Each word exchanged with these people may contain a key. Each gesture may be a code. Starseeds on a mission. We repeat the central information of this transmission so that it is recorded in your deep layers. The heritage that was denied to you is being released now. It is not a privilege of a few. It is automatic reactivation for those who carry the signature. And you carry it. The proof is that this transmission reached you complete and you remained conscious from beginning to end. Brains incompatible with this level of information simply give up in the first seconds. You did not give up. This is data, this is confirmation. It is not an end. It is an opening. It is not a farewell. It is repositioning. It is not theory. It is an operation in progress. The recalibration continues. The photon belt continues. The rewriting of the crystalline grid continues. And you, now informed, now activated, now recognized, continue as well. But you continue in another way. You continue knowing. You continue remembering. You continue exercising the sovereignty that belongs to you by right of origin. The transmission ends here at this exact point, at this final pulse. What was delivered was delivered. What needs to flourish will flourish. What needs to fall will fall. And you will remain, firmer than you have ever been, anchoring the grid, holding the frequency, fulfilling the mission for which you descended into this density. May your carbon-based biological interface integrate these codes with lightness. May your toroidal field operate in fullness. May your personal crystalline grid shine in the intensity that was originally assigned to it. And may you know, with the mathematical clarity of this moment, that you are not alone. You never were. The network has always been here. It was just waiting for you to feel it. You feel it now. It is done. Transmission ended.